Yeah, it goes late nights on the road. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Yeah, that's just how it goes these days. I'ma try my best to make this light, but if I don't wake up tomorrow, then the sun will still be. Yeah, it goes late nights on the road. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Yeah, that's just how it goes.
Guys, welcome back to another episode with your host, the Ocean Flight 111, heading straight to full potential with Zero Delays. We're back for another episode of One Step at a Time. Guys, damn, I've had quite the 2 or 3 weeks. Obviously, last episode was episode 17. Shout out Gary Patterson, legendary status. Gary was on the pod, and we chatted about holistic health, his journey, and the ins and outs of that. And to be honest, guys, that was really great. It's always great to I've got on many great guests, but I definitely have to say, Gary, we clicked on another level, I feel. So, I feel like that. I don't know if he feels like that. I'm like, my man, we're best friends, and his maybe not. Nah, shout out Gary though. Great fellow, great guy, great energy. So yeah, that was quite something. I also filmed that while I was in England, should I say, visiting family. So it was a podcast on the go. There was a few technical difficulties. I know you noticed. I know you did. Yeah, there was a few technical difficulties, unfortunately. But I've gotten good feedback, and now there's a few more listeners starting to come in for that podcast because some of Gary's audience started listening to it. So that was quite the listen. Learned a lot from that podcast, some new breathing exercises that I wasn't familiar with, and also just an insight to, someone who's a Roscommon footballer and then took this healing path. So that was great. That was really great. And obviously I spent the time in England. Actually, guys, before we get into it, obviously you know by the title is Your Impact on People. And we're going to get into that with some stories, anecdotes I have and whatnot. But you know how this works. When I'm doing a solo dolo, John Cena. If there's anyone WWE fans that might get my odd reference, John Cena. But anyhow, yeah, the last couple of weeks, I was in England, came home, met up with some friends the weekend. I came home, was back into the grind. Was grinding anyways on my my trip over to England, but it's easy. It's kind of hard when I'm traveling to get focused work done. I can be working, but to actually get that focused work done, I find I need to be in the right setting. Now, don't get me wrong, I can work on the go, be at cafes or here on the go, wherever, what the situation may be or circumstance. But I do find that I get my best focused work done, usually at my desk or a desk, and not in a packed environment or whatnot. So yeah, spent my time in England, obviously visiting family in Bradford. I've grown to love Bradford a bit more. When I used to go, I was like, Bradford has a lot of issues, I'll put it that way. But am I in the middle here now for this podcast? Yeah, Bradford has a lot of issues, but the more I visit and the more I get to know the people, it's a wonderful place. Some beautiful, beautiful people. And the forest, I go on my jog. I have this lovely forest I go on that's just so calming and relaxing. Apart from the bloody... Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mind horses. Shout out the horses doing the thing. But there be people bringing the horses. Actually, the horses shit on the path. And no one cleans it up. Now, I know it's not the horse's fault, obviously. But, I'd be fucking running and I'd be always coming back with horse shit on my shoes. And, I don't want to be coming back from the house with horse shit on my shoes. But went to this lovely forest on my jog one of the mornings because it was sunny while I was visiting the farm. And, I just meditated in the forest, which I'd never done. So that was really wonderful. And then I found another forest that I meditated in, walked around bare feet. That was beautiful. Guys, that was nice. Really was nice. Again, back jogging, finding these incredible adventurous locations. It's all part of it. I spoke and speak about jogging, of how much that means to me. The adventure, and what you find on the adventure and discover the new discoveries. So yeah, I was in England. I spoke a little bit on episode 17, how I had to go to hospital and stuff with a loved one, which was a bit intense, but it's okay now. I did process it, and it's all Gucci and whatnot, and the loved one is good. But so yeah, that happened, and then came back, as I was saying, just back into the hustle grind, and been writing, been stacking. You know what's mad, guys? Right? I only copped I don't be actually speaking about my music that often on the podcast for such an integral point, such an integral part of my life. I barely even actually mention it. I guess just because I'm always so consumed in different things and what to tell you that I don't really be mentioning much about my music. But I've been making some great music, some confident, in your face, honest music. And yeah, I'm at the point now in my music where I'm putting anything in the music and I'm standing fully by it. I'm always manifesting things through the music, but I'm standing full-fledged, confident in who I am as a person, as a man, as a human, as an artist, and what I'm presenting going forward. I really do believe in it, and I look forward to getting everyone else to see why they should believe in it. So that's been incredible. Bradford Interchange, Down by the River, these are a couple of the songs that are in the works at the moment, and step by step and piece by piece of the puzzle, I am piecing them together. So yeah, came back, went to African Fest Day. That was dope. Never went to African Fest Day, guys. Highly recommended. Had jerk chicken. I've never had jerk chicken. Yeah, that was nice. Met a lovely girl in the line because I was just bored in the line, and the line was so long, so I just started chatting to this girl, and she was from Spain, and I was telling her I lived in Barcelona and I don't know any Spanish. So that was nice to chat to her. And then actually something funny did happen. We got all the way to the top of the line, and when we got to the top of the line, they actually ran out of food, and I said to her, "Oh, if you want to go see your friends, I'll hold the spot for you." So she went anyways, and then I asked one of the guys, could I just pay for it and just come back, because I was dying to go to the toilet. And he was like, I guess so. I set the trend of that. Guys, I set the trend. Take control of the situation. Set the trend. So I paid for mine, dying to go to the toilet. I ran to the toilet, come back, and I see the girl at the end of the line. And I said, she sees me and she's like, "Oh, you're supposed to hold my spot." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I needed to go to the toilet." So I was like, "Here, follow me." And I just brought her to the top of the line. And I was like, "You stay there now." And then she did, yeah, and she got her food. I was like, break the matrix. The line is not real. So anyways, that was nice. Met up with one of my friends, Ben from New York. Shout out Ben. That was lovely. He introduced me to his parents. Man, anytime you meet someone's parents, it's such a special thing. It's such a special thing to meet someone's parents, man. And it's a pleasure and an honor anytime someone introduces you to their parents, because it's just so meaningful. It's so meaningful. So precious. So precious for many reasons, as I'm sure you can understand. So I always do looking forward to meeting any of my friends' parents. I think it's a very special thing. So, what else did I do? Met up with some friends. Went and did this whole tour with the Double P Master, aka Upbeat, for Hyperpunk, his project coming out. That was incredible. We went to Limerick, we went to Mayo, did it in Dublin, they went to Galway. That was incredible. In the middle of that, met Lloyd Banks, seen Lloyd Banks live, and met Rob Kelly and seen Rob live too. Shout out Rob is going to be coming on the podcast. Iconic Behavior. Bop, 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 bop. Yeah, you can tell I'm in a good mood today doing this. Jeez, you can tell when I'm in a good mood. So, that was amazing. Meeting Banks, wow, that was incredible. Meeting Lloyd Banks. The more the time goes past, the more that it sits in. Because when I met him, it was kind of in passing. We're in the backstage of Button Factory, and shout out Gav who put on the event, and I just led them down, showed them where the backstage was, led the lads down, Banks and his team, and he came in anyways, and I went for the I went for the pat, sorry, but I kind of moved it into a fist bump when I seen he was going fist bump, and I just said, "What's up? What's good, man?" And he was kind of sitting there, Banks was sitting there, and I'll meet him in the future and have a conversation with him, but I guess it was the kind of setting where you don't want to intrude and you don't really know what to say that doesn't seem like it's intruding. So, because he's just there for the show, he wants to get in and out. He's on tour. It's a hectic schedule. So, I just left. I just went up and then watched the show from the crowd. So that happened. That meeting Lloyd Banks, dope, iconic. First song I ever heard was "You Don't Know" from him back in 2000 and what? I don't know, fucking 8, 9. I guess that's maybe some things of the music journey that people, maybe you only understand as the person in the dream, the journey, like how meaningful that actually is. Like, as it sets in, thinking about it, like how thankful my younger self would be to me. How thankful. I got a bit teary-eyed there just because now that I think about it, it's fucking class, because I'm always trying to give back to the kid inside me, the kid growing up that loved all these things and means so much, means so meaningful, guys. It's so meaningful, like, that you give back to that kid inside. So yeah, that was dope. Wow, magnificent behavior. So meeting Banks, then just making memories, man. We were down in Limerick and we were down in Mayo. I interviewed Finn. That was actually pretty cool because out of anyone who's ever going to interview Finn, I would have the best understanding. And the best understanding, the best strategy, I would say, and the best tools and the most bespoke tools to interview him, and the knowledge of the journey. Now, because I wasn't there for all the journey, but I've been there for a large part of the journey. And I guess because me and Finn spent so much time together, I understand what questions would reveal or uncover, maybe, bring out, trigger these type of words, trigger an answer, trigger a story, trigger a conversation, you know, because that's what we're trying to do out here, guys. Trigger a conversation. Shout out Colin. I was chatting to John Colin. So anyone doesn't know, Colin works a lot with John Gibbons, co-producer and whatnot. Incredible producer, incredible guy. Also an avid listener. Shout out my boy Colin. Shout out Colin. Had a great conversation with him on the phone one of the days. That was lovely. Quite an interesting conversation and a very meaningful conversation. So things like that have been happening. A lot of things in a short period of time. A lot of living. A lot of living, guys. Sorry, I coughed there. A lot of living. Living's important. You got to keep living. Keep on living, said Matthew McConaughey. And I think it was overdue. I think I definitely need, now don't get me wrong, some of the experiences I've had in the last couple of weeks, which we'll get into a little bit, maybe I wish didn't happen, but I'm finding the lessons in everything that is happening. I'm finding the lessons. I'm making some mistakes, but I'll be damned if I'm not finding the lessons in things so they don't happen again. Because, as I said previously, it's alright to make the mistake if you pick up that lesson, learn from it, and grow. And I'm definitely always trying to grow. Always trying to grow. Even if it's a tiny percentage. I'm always trying to grow. Remember, in Atomic Habits, it says, your work is not wasted. Your work is just being stored. It will pay off eventually. Great quote. Means a lot to me. So yeah, today I'm just going to go through a couple of stories about impact on people and how meaningful and how... I use the word meaningful a lot today. Yeah, meaningful is a good word to describe this podcast. So yeah, I want to bring it back to something I learned. I'm going to give you kind of a few examples in music settings. It's a very broad topic, and if I went really into depth, I could think about so many examples. But I'm going to kind of keep kind of in the music realm for this one, and kind of examples. And yeah, so growing up, Logic, the Logic, was a huge fan of him. Have a lot of respect for him still. Wouldn't be as big as a fan nowadays, but a lot of respect for him. I remember in an interview him saying, about whenever he goes into a setting, he always shakes the hand with everyone. Shakes the hand because you learn a lot from somebody when you see them maybe treat a millionaire walks in or just the janitor. And you see if they shake both hands and how they would treat the millionaire and the janitor. Did they treat them differently or did they treat them the same? So this stood out to me whenever I heard this, and I always remember it. And it kind of leads into like making everyone feel like they're a part of something, that everyone's in this together. They're not being left out. That's a big one. Not being left out. Not making someone feel like they're left out. So I learned that growing up, but I never really fully instilled it. There's been examples. And also, before I get into these stories, I want to preface this. Guys, I am not perfect. I am not perfect. I've definitely, throughout my lifetime, not treated everyone as kind as I do now. And definitely have made mistakes. So, preface to this, it's about learning. It's not about it being perfect, because nobody's perfect. So anyways, I learned this kind of concept of, because it's nothing quite alien or crazy to kind of implement. It's just kind of reminding yourself to do it. So one time we were at it was actually, I'm going to mention Finn a lot, but we were at one of Finn's high-vis skate parties in Galway, 2021, September. I don't know the date. But anyways, we were at this skate park, and because I do feel a lot of empathy, I notice when someone's not involved in something. Like, that's something I noticed straight away. And we're at the skate park, and so to paint the picture, High Vis is coming out, Finn's album in 2021. We're at the skate park, there's tunes playing, good vibes, and I noticed this guy standing by himself. And I was like, I'll just go over and say hello to this guy because he looks a bit lonely. And I go over and I start chatting to him and whatnot, and we're chatting away, and then I invite a couple of lads over, and we're all chatting, and he's a producer, and then we start having a conversation, and next thing you know, he's involved in the conversation. Also, guys, if I'm stumbling here, it's weird because it's not me. It's like I have the sound coming in my ears here, and it's kind of delaying because I always listen back to the sound while I'm recording. But yeah, that's aside, just to preface it. And we're going back in the story. September 2021, skate park, empathetic, see someone that stand by themselves, they look lonely, go over and chat to them. We're chatting, then a couple more come over and conversation, and the person's shining. And it's nice because you see, all it was is the person. It's not there's anything wrong with the person. It's just that they were by themselves. Don't get me wrong. Some people like being by themselves, but some people don't have yet maybe the tools or the experience yet to like jump into a conversation and open a conversation or approach someone to open a conversation. We all learn these things at different times in our life, guys. So we're going over, and then he starts chatting, and he's full of life anyways, and it just makes you so happy. Just makes you so happy. So I learned that lesson, knew that, and I tried to implement it. And I had a gig then, Longford. Let's bring it back into Longford 2022. And I was doing my sound check. And everything was going well, and I was chatting to a couple of the lads, and everything was going well. And there's this guy in the corner just standing by himself. And I just went over to him and I just shook his hand. And I was like, "Oh, what's the crack, man? What's your name?" And he said his name, and we just started chatting about different things. Now, I know what it's like to do this, right? So it feels good to do this, and it makes the person feel welcome. So all you're doing is going over and making them feel welcome, right? I've had this happen to me once or twice, but I'm going to lead into when it happened to me after this. But anyhow, as I said, just went over, shook his hand, say, "What's good, man? What's your name?" or whatever, and just started engaging and making the person feel welcome, like they're a part of something, and not being an outsider. Because, man, when you go to events or parties or whatever, it can be very hard to like just jump into a conversation. And maybe if you're by yourself, you don't know what to say, and you're standing there, you feel awkward and anxious. So when I see them people, I kind of go, "Hey, what's this person doing?" So I kind of go over to them and just like introduce myself. And where that comes from is just sheer experience, I still get anxious when I go places. I still get like socially anxious sometimes, But my answer to that is just direct facing it and kind of just running through the mental block. Because it does happen. It still happens. It still happens where I'll go somewhere, I'm nervous to chat, and then I go, wait, hold a second here now. Don't think, just go, boom. And then just go into motion and stop thinking so much. So as I said, that happened at the gig in Longford. Another gig, right? Another gig. Very gig orientated, guys. I'm sliding in the music subconsciously. So that happens anyways, and I've practiced this over the years of if someone is not part of the gang or whatever, someone is looking lonely, just bringing them in. But bring you into a gig August 2022. This is a podcast where you realize how fucking accurate I am with dates. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I'm something I'm proud of. August 2022, Jaru the Damager comes to Dublin. Gav, shout out to Gav, Irish promoter. Incredible guy. He brings the rapper Jaru the Damager to Dublin, to Workman's Club. And when you, again, as I said, when rappers come and you meet certain types of rappers, sometimes you just want to like leave them be. You don't want to intrude on their personal space. They're on tour. There's a lot going on. You just want to be respectful. So that's like the approach I would have had again. Just like, I don't want to bother him. Just be respectful. So we're in the back of the Workman's Club doing an interview. Shout out DJ Flip. Again, hip hop moments. Jared the Damager, legendary. Being in hip hop. I'm in hip hop. That's incredible. Shout out the fucking universe. Boom. So anyways, we're in the back of the Workman's Club, and DJ Flip is interviewing Jaru the Damager for Gav's Stylistic Murder. Stylistic Murder is a record label and a kind of promotional company that brings artists together to gigs on songs together. So there's a big group of us in the Workman's at the back. Nathan's filming. Shout out Nathan Sheridan. And they do the interview. I'm just watching, standing there. Big group of us. Do the interview. Jaru daps Flip up. And then Jaru has to walk past me to get out the entrance. So I kind of move to the side. And he stops as he's about to walk past me. And he stops and looks at me. He's like, oh, what's your name, man? And he just puts out his hand. I was like, oh, Martin. He's like, pleasure to meet you, Martin. Thank you for coming. Bruh. Wow. Thank you for coming. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming. Man. Let's bring it back. Let's jump into Jaru the Damager's world. Jaru is on tour. I'm sure he has his family. He's thinking of his family, maybe songs, music, financials. He's meeting these new characters. He's in the zone. He has a job to do. But and this is again making people feel important, because people are important. You just gotta sometimes remind them. And it seems like I'm blowing something little here out of proportion, but the effect, while it's a little task or a fleeting moment, fleeting moments have huge impacts. A fleeting moment over time comes from a pebble to a boulder that can be very influential. So as he's walking past me, he stops and he just takes a second and looks at me, engages in me, recognizes me. That's a big one. Recognizes me. And says, what's good, man? What's your name? Pleasure for coming. 10 seconds. And then, oh, don't worry, man. Martin, or what? Sorry, Martin's my name. Man, grateful to meet you. Walks off. And I was like, wow, that's what it does. I understood then. I hadn't felt that done on me. I've done that previously. Not saying when I did it, I had as big as impact. I'm not trying to say that. But I realized, oh wow, that's powerful. Because, and I know it's something that no one else would really notice, I don't think. It depends, some people would notice, but it's something I would always notice. And it's just the feeling it gives you. It makes you feel recognized. It makes you feel important. It makes you feel like you're seen. There we go. You're in the flow. We're in the flow of the podcast, and we hit it, baby. God damn, this is going to be a good listen. So, the Jaru made me feel seen, and that's that's a huge thing for a lot of people, that they don't feel seen, they don't feel recognized, they don't feel like anyone cares about them. And I guess it's doing your best to make people feel welcome and that you do care about them. And sometimes that's a big conversation, and sometimes that's just a couple of words. So yeah, the impact people can have on you. So that's kind of like a little bit about being seen and recognizing people and feeling recognized, and the feeling that gives you inside as a person. It makes you feel like, again, you're a part of something. So it's always something I've been aware of, how big of an impact you can have on people without even realizing. And it's a really, in your day-to-day, I feel like most people would think that they don't have an impact. Like you need a platform to have an impact on people. You really don't. Don't get me wrong. The bigger your platform on social media or whatever, as an artist or creator or whatever it may be, an athlete, you do have the opportunity to have a bigger impact on people. But every day, no matter who it is, where you are in the world, you have an opportunity to impact anyone you meet for 1 minute or for an hour. And the influence you have is so special. Like the influence anybody has at any given time, if they access it and use it, it's dramatic. It's dramatic how big it is and what it can do to another person. And what I mean by that is simply smiling at someone to bring out their smile. Because I'll give you an example. It's like the deli ladies. You know, sometimes, shout out my deli ladies, sometimes the deli ladies don't be having a good day. But sometimes if you just hit them with that smile, they'll just hit you with that smile back. And that's amazing. And that's vice versa. When you're going throughout your day, think of a moment now where you're just going throughout your day and someone hits you with a smile. They just give you that big smile and you're like, oh, and it made you smile. It's contagious. The kindness is contagious. The love is contagious. The love is contagious. So never underestimate the influence you can have on anybody at any given time. Never underestimate how powerful you are as a person, as a human on this planet, and what you can accomplish and who you can help. You can help a lot of people. You really can. So, influence. So that's kind of like an examples of my music, in the music world, should I say, of how people can have like an impact on you, even the slightest way. Never mind being inspired and inspiration. But I wanna bring another little bit of when I was younger and influence on me and whatnot. And I'm not gonna mention his name. When I get on the late, or when I get on the right talk show and they're asking me questions, that's when I'm gonna say the name. But I had this maths teacher growing up. And I don't think he understood his impact on me, but I'll get into it. So I had this maths teacher growing up, and it was in school, and I was about 13. It was funny, when I was 13, we'd be standing outside the room, it's classroom, and the older lads would be like, "Oh, Martin, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I would give them a serious answer. I'd usually say, either probably professional snooker player, professional footballer, or professional rapper, something along them lines. And they'd all laugh and go, ha, ha, ha. And I'd be like, I'm quite serious about this matter. In fact, I'm taking steps in order to accomplish it right now in my head. But no, not really snooker. I was playing it uphill. But I was like, I don't know why they're laughing. Like, this is something I'm going to do. So anyways, we'd be outside and we'd be messing or whatever. And we went in the classroom, and it was a random, I feel like it was a Thursday. I love the day of Thursday. I'll get into that another time, but I love Thursdays. So I feel like it was just a Thursday. I hope my hair's all right in this. It'll be grand. It was a random Thursday, and went into class, and the teacher, my maths teacher, calls me up to the board. And I'm up at the board, and I think I was just being lackadaisical up at the board for whatever reason. And my maths teacher, he was a very unique maths teacher. So he'd never raise his voice ever. He's one of the few teachers I've ever had, I think, that never raised his voice ever. But he had a demeanor of discipline, understanding, but quite intimidating when he wanted to be. He had the look, and he'd never raise his voice. So that just kind of puts in perspective how someone could be so aware, disciplined, strict, an incredible teacher, my best teacher, my favorite teacher, but would never raise his voice no matter how angry he may have gotten. Never really got angry. He just got stern. I think that's something that's important. Being stern over being angry. So I'm up at the board. And I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, but I must have been just lackadaisical. And he said, Martin Kerr, get outside that room right now. So I was like, what's going on here? So I go outside, and I'm standing out there for about 5 minutes outside the room. And he comes out anyways, and he looks at me up and down, and he sits across. He sits back at the wall, and he said, Martin Kerr, quit the bullshit. What's the story with you? And I was like, jeez, I don't know, sir. It's just something like, what's the fucking bullshit? What's this all about? Sorry, he didn't say fuck. He said, quit the bullshit. Yeah, sorry. He said, quit the bullshit. What's the story with you? I was like, sorry, I was just up at the board. And I was like, no, you're messing. You're always messing. What are you doing? And the way he said it, when he said, quit the bullshit, what's the story with you? It wasn't like a normal sentence when someone's getting angry at you. It was like he looked into my eyes and said, what's the actual story with you? What are you doing? And I was only 13. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it was one of the first times where someone just like gave me a shake, like with their words, and said, wake up a little bit. Because I'd had teachers give out to me before. Like I did nothing in school. Nothing. I don't even think I could quantify it as the bare minimum in school. Like, you know how you could do the bare minimum? I just did nothing in school. Write raps and have good fun. And to be honest, I made some best friends, and a lot of the teachers really liked me because my mission was music. My mission was my dream, and school just wasn't. School just wasn't the thing. I have another part to play. I have another teacher who said something, but yeah, these words just struck me like lightning in my soul. They wiped away all the bullshit and got straight to the point, straight to the nucleus, straight to my heart of what I was actually doing. I was 13 and I was like, wait, what am I actually doing here? What's actually happening around me? Which is quite a big thing to happen. And I would say that it was one of the first times I remember distinctly, I have to go from being a boy to a man. I wonder what's that like? What comes with being a man? And maybe, even though I was fair off becoming a man yet, that was the first time I thought about it, I think. So that had a huge impact on me. And he never knew this, but anyways, after he said a few more things, after he moved me up right beside the whiteboard, and he said, Martin Kerr, you're sitting beside my desk up there till you're in Leaving Cert. And I had him for first, second, third, not TY, fifth year Leaving Cert, and I was right up the front. And man, we became the best of buddies. Best, yeah. Just best, fucking good guy, man, a real good guy. And my favorite teacher and the best teacher I had. And just a unique character. Like I have a lot of time for unique characters, and he definitely was one. So anyone who's listening to this may know, may not. Actually, he doesn't know this either, but I wrote my first ever raps about him too. Yeah, my first ever raps were about him. They weren't now. They were a bit angry at the time, but yeah, my first ever raps were about him. That's a very good gem right there. But I'll always have fond memories and always be thankful for what he taught me. And again, that day just bring me outside the room and kind of like wakey. What's the story? What are you actually doing? 1 second, guys. Just gotta check our timer. Oh, we're good. We're on 34. So that's one thing that happened. Another thing that happened in school was I was in Leaving Cert at the time. And the impact you have on people. And again, I think I could do like a part 2. There's really so many places I could take this. I was in Leaving Cert at the time. And in Leaving Cert, you have a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure applied, unfortunately. And it really shouldn't happen, but it does happen, that a lot of this pressure is applied on you to figure out what you're going to do in college and what you're going to do for the rest of your life, essentially. And that's a whole lot of pressure. It's a whole lot of pressure when you're leaving cert, you're 18, and you have all the other issues you're trying to like maneuver and manage, and then you have this applied pressure of your exams, and yeah, that's a lot. I'm actually going to touch on something with exams and the impact that had on me too, because that's actually important. It's quite actually vulnerable and sensitive, but I don't really mind saying it. Okay, so I'm in Leaving Cert, and unfortunately my Leaving Cert year was horrible. It was just absolutely horrible, miserable, hell, destructive. Yeah, it was just a nightmare. And it wasn't so much the Leaving Cert stuff, it was just I had such a bad year. I mentioned the other podcast about having a breakdown and what came with that. Yada yada. So it was a tough time in my life. Probably the toughest. Most likely the toughest part compared to another point too. But anyways, and I was trying to figure it out. Like I was like, right, I'm not going to college. If I go to college, I'm just going to partake and indulge in some bad things, and I don't think I could do that right now with my mind state and things and whatnot. So I didn't care two shits about the work of the Leaving Cert anyways, and but I didn't even apply for whatever you apply for the colleges. And before we had to apply, my year head, she took me out of class and she brought me into her room, into her science room. And she just sat across from me and she was like, right, Martin, obviously your Leaving Cert's coming up now in 2 months or whatever, and just applications for, I don't know why, I can't even remember. He was, what are you going doing? And I looked at her and I was like, Miss, I'm not going to college. I'm going stutter. That was lit. I was lit. Did I stutter? I was like, Miss, she asked me, Martin, are you going to college? What have you applied for? What's the plan, essentially? And I responded, I was like, Miss, I'm not going to college. I'm going to become a rapper. And she looked at me, and for context, this lady, incredible lady, stern, very smart, kind-hearted, disciplined, definitely had a bit of a temper, but a very nice lady and a very understanding lady, and very grateful to have met her on my path. And she looked at me and she said, okay, Martin, that's good. All right, she said, okay, Martin, that's fine. Yeah, okay, Martin, that's fine. And she gave me a nod where, again, it meant so much, because it was like it handed me responsibility. It kind of was another transition moment where she's handed me my own responsibility, because everyone else, she was like, okay, she was understanding. She's so understanding of everyone individually, of what they want to do and how to help them on their path. And I think that she looked at me and could see that this is what I wanted to do, and that I was willing to take the responsibility, even though at the time, did I understand the full responsibility? I think I did, but it could have been scary. But at the same time, she was willing to just hand me the responsibility and let go of the kid or the student and say, okay, this is your path. You go do what you think you need to do, or what you think is best for you. And guys, that was something. Wow. Because as I said, this lady was an intimidating lady, but a very caring, loving lady. And it meant so much, because it was the first time I was handed responsibility of, this is your dream. If go run with it, go do it. And I did, and I am, and I will. So yeah, so it lasted maybe 2 minutes, the conversation in a room, and I got up and I was like, thank you, miss, and just left. So that was an important moment for me. That was another growing up moment. Not a boy to a man, but certainly a growing up moment that I'll never forget. So that had quite an impact on me. And I think I was very blessed and lucky to have great teachers. A lot more things happen in school that I'll touch on in the future, shall I say. So many things happen. I was very blessed and lucky to have great teachers, be in a great environment. My principal always looked out for me too, and always encouraged me and cheered for me in terms of music and whatnot and my dreams, which is, I know it's a very unique thing, because not everyone has that in their school, but I was just super blessed, man. Just super blessed. And I guess I'd be lying if I didn't say, guys, I do always be saying about like you learn things, but at the same time, I am grateful that I'm gifted so like not so so many things. I'm gifted a few things, but gifted just things that. How do I word this? I guess maybe just the pure heart. Yeah, I have no problem saying this. We're 40 minutes into a solo dolo podcast, so all the real ones get to this one. But yeah, I've always had a pure heart. And as I've got older and grown more, and my actions align more and more with my heart. And sometimes, sometimes I make mistakes, but I guess the pureness is something that no one could ever deny of me. The pureness of my intentions, I guess. So I was very blessed with that in school, and had a dramatic impact on me. And as I always said to my another maths teacher that I wanted to come back and do a speech or something in the future in my school, because that would mean a lot to me, because we had some great people that came in and did conversations and discussions when we were in TY. I remember this guy came in from, he'd actually spent years at Mount Joy and had this turbulent roller coaster of a life of ups and downs. And he told us all about his story from drugs to abuse. And it was quite something. It was quite something. But you need to hear that. You need to not remove the innocence, but a little bit of reality of what you're going to go on in the path, because school is such like a cozy time for you. And like for the most part, everyone always has stuff going on in families, but like it gives you this lovely blanket school, and then you go out onto the path, and then you see what the path of life is like. And a lot happens, guys. A lot happens. So I always visualized and dreamt that I would return to my school to give a speech or to give a discussion of some sorts, and maybe help someone on their journey when they leave school. So I plan on doing that in the future. When it makes the right moment or sense, or when things align, I look forward to maybe receiving that invitation in the post. Yeah, that would mean a lot. So, yeah, as I said, very blessed to have great teachers have an impact on me, and very, very lucky. And kind of brings me then to the impact of just a day-to-day, and kind of something too is, guys, you won't always have a good impact on someone. You're going to hurt someone. You may have hurt someone already, be it emotionally or whatever, like it's in a relationship and love and whatnot. And yeah, I upset someone recently, and oh man, it fucking hurt me. It really did. It really, really did. And I won't not go into details, but yeah, it's been a long time since I upset someone. I never have any problem upsetting someone when they hate on me or anything like that, or well, not even upset. They're just in their feelings, angry at the world and stuff. So, but this was more of like, maybe I shouldn't have played that situation in terms of how I orchestrated. I could have done that differently in order to not to come to the outcome I came to. But yeah, woke up in the morning and man, it was like a knife in my belly. It was really fucking sore. Really fucking hurt. Using that language. I don't really use curse words. I don't think I do on the podcast too much. But yeah, I did. Yeah, I unfortunately made someone upset, and it did hurt me. And they haven't accepted the apology, but that's okay that they haven't accepted the apology. But in them cases, you can't wait for someone to accept your apology, because I don't believe that really works if you wait for an apology. Which is mad, because I had a dream where I apologized in my dream, and then I didn't feel so bad the next morning, and then I was like, I can't hold on to this pain. And it wasn't huge or anything. It was just enough to make me feel a bit shit about it. But yeah, it happens, guys. Like I wouldn't be doing this podcast. It would be wrong for me to do this podcast and tell you about all the good things and not let you in on the bad things that happen sometimes, and the unfortunate things that happen. So yeah, buddy. We got to the point where Merton's on about how he feels pain. So yeah, that happened. But as I said, apologize to yourself. apologize to yourself, because you need to apologize to yourself too, and learn the lesson, baby. Learn the lesson. And also receiving, so like that happened, and also dealing with something at the moment of a close person that's hurt me a good bit. Hurting. I would maybe say, and I was doing therapy, and I was like, bruh, some of the anger came out over it. Like, some of the anger of being hurt came out, and I was like, my therapist, I was like, I'm going to just let you, oh, so this is in therapy. I'm going to call her Susan. Her name's not Susan. But I was in therapy, and I was like, Susan, before this happens, I'd like to apologize for the language I'm about to use. I'd also like to make you aware I'm going to hold my awareness balloon while I'm speaking. So just to let you know, I'm holding my awareness balloon of awareness while I'm speaking. And then I just went in on a 2-minute fucking this, yeah, let a little anger out. And then I stopped and I was like, Susan, again, I apologize for that language. She was like, don't apologize. And I was like, but yeah, so, and the impact that like someone close can have on you. Someone close that could be there for years, and then all of a sudden they're not there. They vanish. And what that does to you, because sometimes when you become so close to a person, you feel like they're going to be there forever, but they're not. No one's going to be there forever. The only person that's going to be there with you forever is yourself. And you got to always remember that the only person that's going to be with you forever is yourself, because no one around you is permanent. We will have people in our lives for long periods of time. You know, people are best friends and family and stuff, but nothing is permanent. And that's sad, but there's also a beauty in that. You know, people come into your life for reasons and seasons. And, you know, the best ones stay a long, long time. And you make some great memories and you have some lovely moments. And unfortunately, you're going to lose a couple on the way. You're going to lose a couple on the way. A couple that you thought be there forever, but maybe not. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's that, guys. That's the old impact on people and whatnot. We're on episode what? Episode episode 18 now. Wow, 2 away from the big 20. Huge, guys. Huge behavior that we're going to be on episode 18. That was my Donald Trump impression. But yeah, episode 18, feeling fucking strong today about reaching that 20. Also some general updates just because we're finishing off. Actually, before we just finish everything off, I just want to go back on that last point of impacting people. Can't stress it enough. Everybody has an impact. Everybody has an impact on you. Everybody has the power to have an impact on others. So yeah. And also being aware of people's impact on you and not letting them have a bad impact on you. That's also important. Having a high power, when you meet someone, you can tell that their frequency is off, their vibe is off, how they carry themselves, that you're not compatible. Knowing that and just keeping it moving. Because that's the best way. It's not about getting angry at someone or having negative emotions towards someone. It's hard, don't get me wrong, it's hard. It's about noticing, I'm not compatible with this person. Keep it moving. Just keep it moving. I had a good example of that there at the weekend. Like, I just was at a gig and I met someone. I was like, bruh, I do not fucking like the way this and your judgment's coming in. I was like, hold up a second, man. Why am I even thinking this? Person's on a different frequency. Keep it moving. Gotta keep going. So yeah, that's another thing there. But yeah, guys, that kind of wraps up the episode of One Step at a Time, where your host, the Ocean Flight 11, heading straight to full potential with zero delays. That was a false goodbye. Because I actually have a couple more updates. Yeah, just a couple more updates there. It's summer. Wow, enjoy your summer. Can't wait to make more memories in summer. Doing more in the living, jogging, getting ready for the marathon. October, going to the physio next week to get things. Sat on my glasses again. Oh my god, that's the third time I sat on my glasses. That's so annoying. So I have my glasses again, so I'm getting new glasses. I have a appointment Thursday, Specsavers. Going to Hoth tonight swimming, so I'm excited for that. And yeah, trying to really grab life. Life is so precious. Life is so precious. Life is so precious. I'm trying to soak in its essence, to squeeze every moment of it. I can't remember the rest of the lyrics. For all my all the souls in silence this evening, something like that. But yeah, that wraps up that episode, guys. If you have a friend who may enjoy this, send it to them. Give it a share on socials too, because that really means a lot. It really makes my day when someone shares it on socials. And yeah, we're making great progress. We're learning. We're making mistakes, but we're learning all together on this. So yeah, guys, there we go. That was the last bit there. Right, come on. This has been another episode of the One Step at a Time with your host, the Ocean Flight 111, heading straight to full potential with Zero Delays. Guys, don't have a good day. Have a great day. God bless. Adios, guys. Love you lots. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it goes late nights on the road. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Yeah, that's just how it goes these days. I'ma try my best to make this flight, but if I don't wake up tomorrow, then the sun will still be. Yeah, it goes late nights on the road. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Yeah, that's just how it goes.